quicker than a Mickey D's drive-through. She gonna make a superstar. Yeah, fool. She calls me a big man, and I call her my Chick-fil-A. She calls me a big man, and I call her my little Chick-fil-A. Once you've had a fast mama, quick as a Mickey D's drive-through. She's a fast mama, quicker than a Mickey D's drive-through. Yeah, she will make a supersize, yeah, fool, out of you. Is a Mickey D's drive-through. She's a fast mama, quicker than a Mickey D's drive-through. Yeah, she will make a supersize, yeah, fool, out of you. Call her KFC, 'cause she's finger-licking girl. Call her KFC, yeah, 'cause she's finger-licking girl. You know that those fast girls, yeah, they just ain't no good. Is a Mickey D's drive-through. She's a fast mama, quicker than a Mickey D's drive-through. She gonna make a superstar. Yeah, fool. I can't say goodbye. Just keep on passing lonely when I dream. Yeah, dream. Yeah, I want a bad girl. Honey, I'm not ashamed. March on, march on, march on. Hey, march on. You got the soldier on.
Welcome to season 2 of the Bus Your Mama T. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We've already got a bunch of viewers, so I think we should just go ahead and get started. Let's stay tuned for a brief message about Grand Forks' best source. Let's do that. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Momma T sent you.
March on, march on, march on. Hey, march on. You got the soldier on.
Welcome back. We've got a great show for you today. We were going to have 2 guests today, but it seems that one of them has not gotten back to me. Our first and possibly only guest today is Mark Anthony. How you doing? Oh, I can't hear you. You might be muted. Better check that. I can't hear anything. No, I can't hear you now. I can read your lips, but I can't. I don't think. Oh, sorry about that. Can I hear you yet? No, I can't hear you yet. Well, everybody can see and hear me. There's might be a mute button there somewhere, Mark. There's a look on the bottom of your screen there. There's a mic button there. I still can't hear you. Ah! Well, we have these little glitches here and there. Normally, we are able to work through them, and let's see. I still can't hear you. Well, Mark Anthony is your mic physically connected? Is it plugged in? Do you have a cord for it or something or is it a built-in? Is it a built-in deal? You don't know? Oh, awesome. What a great start to season 2. Well, the intro was awesome. Got to thank producer Jeremy. That is an amazing intro. I'm going to be moving to East Grand Forks here pretty soon. I've got this little podcast I do, and usually we don't have this many issues. So I'm currently located in McIntosh, Minnesota. I was dating the late great little Bobby. And we've got a couple podcasts actually. I'm doing a podcast called Renegade Radio as well. That's tomorrow night. That one's a lot of fun. You guys got to tune into that. But there's a lot of cussing on that one, so we try to keep this one clean. um, but yeah, I grew up in Roseville, Minnesota. I spent most of my 20s in Thief River, which is where I met little Bobby. I used to be his driver back in the day. Um, yeah, so we were friends for 30 years, dated for the last little over 3 years. We were dating, and I was on the one podcast for a while. We were running this bar out here. His kids are doing a great job taking care of it now that he's not with us any longer. But yeah, I love music and I think music.
Can you hear me?
And okay, what's going on there? I was getting a little echo there. Forgot what I was saying. Oh, the bar here out in Macintosh, it's still Little Bobby's, and it's being operated by his oldest daughter. He's got a couple other. Oh, I can hear you. Yay! I don't like talking about myself, anyways.
That's my man. All right.
Oh.
Well, hey, you're doing good covering my butt. That's great. All right.
Things happen. It's all right. Tell him thank you, because I hate talking about myself. The show is about the musicians, and I love hearing musicians' stories. And let's get to yours. We might be here for a while.
Yeah, maybe.
So how are you doing today, Mark?
I'm not doing bad. We just had band practice, and I was a little sweaty, but I did bring my brush, so all right.
And no, this is Mark Anthony. This is not Meatloaf, folks. Just to let you know.
Good one.
I had to. So tell me about where are you from? Where did you grow up? Tell me about your family.
From North Dakota, actually. Your neck of the woods, well, close to you. Grew up in Cavalier, North Dakota, little town up by Canada. And most of my first bands were out of Grand Forks and then Fargo. So that's kind of where people got to know me a little bit, was Fargo.
What bands have you been in?
Oh boy, we got all day.
We got an hour.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was in Grand Forks, had a band called Super Glide. I was in I can't remember half the bands, but it wasn't really till I went to Fargo and joined a band called the Blues Works that eventually became the Shuffle Cats. So I've been with that name pretty much for about 30 some years. Till I moved to the city.
What got you into music? Like, what inspired you to perform in the first place?
Oh man, that's a tough one, because I kind of, there was some guys from my high school that were in a band. I thought, well, man, I sang along on my radio. Everybody thinks they sound just like the radio. I was one of those. And they had a band, and there was a guy that had moved. He was like 10 years older than us, had moved to town, or the area, I should say. And they kind of started a band, and they had a singer that I just didn't think was that good, to be honest. I mean, you're young with an ego, you think you can do anything. So I could at least do that. It doesn't seem too hard. And it's like, well, I was kind of shy. It just kind of brought you out of the shell, a little bit. So I hung around with him, actually ran lights for him for a while, just to try to be part of it, and I'd be back there. That's back when you made the old coffee can lights, there was, they get so hot, they fizzle out, burn out, and stuff like that. But I'd be, like I was part of the band, I'd be playing the lights pretty much. And they're like, quit flashing lights so damn much, whatever. So that's what got me into it, I guess. Just eventually I became part of the band and stuck with those guys on and off, fighting with each other or whatever for 9 years.
You've got a few albums out. In fact, I've got this one right here.
That's the Rubber Monkeys. Yeah, that was a band I was in down here in the cities. The bass player wrote a couple of the songs. I wrote some of the other ones on there. But yeah, we did the first Shuffle Cat CD back in '97. We recorded that in Bismarck at Makochi, and you can you can listen to that whole album on Reverb Nation. Mark Anthony Shuffle Cats. There's a plug if you want to, because
Go ahead.
we actually get a because we sold out that first one. I just don't have physical CDs anymore, and there's not a lot of people that want them anymore, which is kind of sad because you kind of lose the artwork and all the cool stuff that goes with having a CD. So.
Well, I like the physical. I like the physical copies. I mean, then it's always there. You always have it, and
Mhm.
that's how you help support bands too, because you can't just play the pay the band for showing up at a venue. I mean, you got the cover charge and everything, but you know, merch is one of the things that you really need to for that, because when you pay the band, you got to split all that money up, and merch
Yeah.
is. Do you have T-shirts or anything, or a merch site?
I'm working on getting a new batch of things because I kind of reformed this thing. I was doing basically cover bands for the last few years. I haven't had a chance to do much of my own stuff. And when the Rubber Monkeys ended, we played an awful lot, but it was just kind of it ran its course after like 11 years of playing a lot of the same cover stuff that I'd been doing for years. It's kind of like recycle kind of things. So I quit that band. I actually, for the first time in 30 some years, just took a year off. I just didn't do anything at all. It was kind of nice, but now I'm looking around. It's like all my friends are out playing the weekend, and I'm worried about what's on Svengoolie on Saturday night. So kind of got the itch. I thought, well, I'm going to try this, one more time. And I went out and found some people that I had played in different bands with, people I really liked that were good, but a lot of them didn't know each other. Just for I played in the Freebird tribute band for quite a few years ago, and I snagged one of the drummers that played in that band with me, and then I got the bass player from Blue Dream, and I worked with him years ago. I did a big show actually with him at the Empire Arts Center in East Grand Forks back in 2005. Gives away your age there, but yeah. So I got these people together, and it really clicked. I mean, they're just really good people. I mean, even though they're not sitting in the room with me, I mean, I honestly mean that. So I don't know. It's just going really well. But to get back to it, I wanted to reform it. Still not exactly sure if it's going to be the Shuffle Cast, but I've got so much invested over the years in that name. Still run the website, which got updated and everything, all that. But it's like, okay, well, maybe I should stick with that because people know that name. Back when I was in that area, I mean, the old Riverside Blues Show, Kevin Hendrickson used to play our music, quite a bit on there. So, I mean, so people do remember the band. It's just, okay, well, will they like this band? And so far, we haven't done any shows yet, but it's clicking well. It sounds really good, and I mean, everybody says that when they're in a band, but I mean, it actually really does. After a while, you get to know what's good and what's not good.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's working really well.
So you said that a lot of this music is actually you wrote some of these songs. You've got a lot of music out there, and every musician approaches writing differently. What's your creative process?
Oh, it varies. A lot of the early Shuffle Cats, I worked with Ken Reardon, and we were kind of 50-50 partners. I would come in with an idea of how to do something. Like I'd have lyrics written and work it up with Ken. He was real easy to work with that way. We would work up a song, or he'd have music written, and I would put lyrics to it. we just bounce it off, each other very well. But um, I kind of, I'm not going to say evolved, but I just kind of started using different ways of writing songs. I don't play an instrument real well myself, but enough where I can pluck out what I want and give it to people that can really play. It's like, okay, yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want to do. And yet I still give leeway. I mean, sometimes they'll have an idea. And I'll say, well, let's hear your idea. Like we're in the studio, I'll say, what's your idea? If it's better than my idea, you'll never know what my idea even was because I'm not going to bring it up. But if you, if it's not really what I'm hearing or I'm not digging it, well, then I'll do what I was thinking and see if that works out any better. So I don't know. I just like to try different things. I consider it blues rock for the most part, which is what I seem to do the best, I think. I have done the 80s stuff and things like that. It's just not really what my vocals are for. I don't know. I just really like what I do.
So, which of your songs were your favorite to write?
Oh, I don't think I really have a favorite. I joke about this. My kids will probably kick me, but I always say, well, if you have an ugly kid, you still love it. So I do the same with songs. It's like, well, I know what they're about, so it's like, okay, this song, people may not like it as much, but I like it because I know it's about this. And I love to try to write songs that might have a double meaning where you're pretty sure it's about this. And then you find out it's really about this. It's like, oh, wow. And then you listen to it again and it's a whole new song for you because you didn't know it was about that. So that's
Those are my favorite songs to listen to. They used to do that a lot back in the day. We do have another ad break coming up here. We are going to be going. I'm going to be moving to East Grand Forks, and then Grand Forks Best Source is a platform that's going to be picking up my show here. So I'm still going to do it out of my own area, but they replay the show. So let's hear about them real quick. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Mama T sent you.
March on, march on, march on. Hey, march on. We got the soldier on.
Well, that's who's going to be replaying my podcast and the other podcast I'm on Monday nights. Tuesdays at 7 p.m. There we go. So, Mark, what do you think is the most difficult challenge facing musicians, like today, like in the world we live in right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's a catch-22. In a lot of ways, there's so much media now that, I mean, it's almost anybody can put something out there. With the advent of computers, you can put things out or whatever. So just to be heard, because there's a lot more saturation, so to speak, I think is I don't know if it's a problem, but it's just what I see. I'm an older dude, so it's like it's just not like it used to be. You get a press pack together and you'd print material and you'd go out humping for gigs and give stuff. Now it's like everybody's, well, just email me. You don't have to mail me something, or you don't need to give me posters or whatever. It's like, okay, but I'm old school. That's what I do. So
Right.
I don't know if it's like a challenge really, but just catching up with the times sometimes for me. I mean, even today, this is the first podcast I've done. I had no clue how to do this. None.
This is the first podcast you've ever. Oh, I feel so
I've done
privileged.
tons of interviews before on the radio, sitting in a radio station, or calling in and doing a lot of audio stuff, or but not like this. No, I never have. No.
Well,
You're my
that's
friend.
cool. I feel so privileged. And I actually did have the privilege of seeing you perform one time. One time. You are one heck of a singer, man. You got a great voice.
Thank you.
I got. And if anybody out there ever has a chance to see this guy perform, I mean, it will be money well spent. I mean, the what is it? The Leonard Skinner
It was the Freebird.
Freebird. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I went back. I'm not in that band anymore, but the guy that used to run that band for years, my good friend Greg Phillip, passed away a couple of years back. He had brain cancer, and none of us knew it. He didn't want anybody to know, because they treat you different, So Greg and I had talked. I went back in 2017. I quit the band in 2011, and they had a singer, ironically, that had cancer in 2017. He had a couple of really big shows to do. He said, I just don't think Billy can do it. Can you come back and fill in? I thought, geez, I haven't sang that stuff for, 6-7 years, whatever it was. But I did it. We did Rock in the Cove in Devil's Lake, and then we did a Tribute Fest in Duluth. And it was a lot of fun. I went back and did it, and I was like, this really was fun because, I love Leonard Skinner and everything, but I'm not, we're not Leonard Skinner. And when that's all you do for like 6 years, I got pretty burnt out on doing it, even though we had great shows and big crowds and all that stuff. But I just kind of wanted to do, again, try to do my own thing, how that goes. But anyway, when Greg passed away, we had talked about maybe doing that again, because now his kids grew up. I see these kids grow up and they're phenomenal musicians. So the band now is his kids, bass, drums, guitar. And I asked them if I could do one more big show. I said, I just want to do one more show now that Greg has passed, just kind of for Greg. It sounds weird, but I wanted to do that. And they were gracious enough because they have a singer. He's a great kid that, I call him a kid. But he was there that night. He sang a couple, but we did Moondance Jam. Because I had been with Moondance for years doing things. So they wanted to do Moondance, and they figured, well, maybe he can get us in there. So it was mutual. We were able to work it out, and I went back and ran around like I was Mick Jagger again, because it was so fun just to play and have a big crowd again. But I felt it the next day, that's for sure. So, yeah.
Moondale was fun.
Yeah, great to see Bob there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
We finally got out of the house.
Yeah, it was.
So what kind of music do you listen to? Like, what's on your playlist?
I listen to everything. People say that, but I really do. What I love to do is I'll use my phone iPod and I'll pull up like YouTube music, and I'll look for things, and I'll purposely. I could be driving. My favorite thing I used to do. It sounds weird, but after we'd play a show, like when I was in Rubber Monkeys, like say I had a couple-hour drive home, hour and a half drive home. So it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're still kind of sweaty, and you're kind of jiving from the gig a little bit. I'd put it on and I'd drive home, and I would pick live concerts. It was like, that was my thing. I just loved to listen to, like, turn it up and listen to a live concert. But I could listen to like a Chris Isaac concert, then I could listen to a Buddy Guy concert, then I'd go and I'd listen to like a Genesis concert or Alan Parsons or one Hall & Oates. I just like to listen to a lot of different things. That's just what I do. I'm not just stuck in one thing. I'll go through little phases like everybody does. Like I was on a Steely Dan kick not too long ago, or Donald Fagen, But I could turn around and then listen to Sheryl Crow, or just yesterday we were listening to Dio. It's like okay, but I mean I'll listen to albums too, but I kind of like to listen to live concerts because then you really hear how they play. It's like this is like being there. So
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. So
And I love the listening to the live concerts too. You get all that audience interaction too, and how the musicians are interacting with the crowd and everything. I think that's one of my favorite parts
mhm.
of live concerts. I mean, besides, of course, you hear how they really sound without auto tune.
Yep.
Do you have any gigs coming up?
I do not. That was the one question I was hoping you wouldn't ask. But no, I don't. Well, we do have. I take that back. We got a couple of things we're going to do. I've been hesitant to take this out of the garage, so to speak. I wanted it to be right, and maybe overcautious. We were just talking about that today. I was telling the guys, I'm kind of sorry because I've been so, worried about this being good because it's got my name on it, and these are my songs because it's all songs I've written. We only do a couple of cover songs. We just didn't want to be a cover band. So I think we could be farther along than we are, but I'm like, well, let's get it right, hammer a song 10 times or whatever. They're like, we got it, we got your back. Don't worry about it. So, but no, so next week we're going to do it's not really a private thing, but we have a friend that converted his barn, the upstairs, a loft. He built a stage. He's got a big sound system. He has private parties, and he puts out a spread of food and free booze and stuff. He's not doing that for us next week, but when he has parties that he sets up, and he have 3-4 bands up there that play. Most time they just play for free because of what it is. But he has a Halloween party every year, so we'll go play that because he's been good to us. He'll let us go. Like I said, next week we'll go there. He's just going to allow us to do like a practice where we have to perform. We're going to have some friends. So that forces you to perform for them. You don't just practice. It's like,
Right.
okay, we got to run this like a gig because we put songs together where we'll go from one song, boom, into another. And those are the things that we're working hard on. It's not just playing the song. We can do that. It's like, how do we present this, make a show of this? So we want to make sure that's right, and seeing
You guys
somebody.
come sneaking in back there.
Oh yeah, that's hey Tim. That's our carpenter.
Is this one of the band members?
Yeah, that's one of the guys.
See you, buddy.
See you later.
That's cool. We always welcome friends, family. Come hang out. Come.
I told them they'll hang out behind me. They all want to split. It's like
So what else do you do? What do you do for fun? Like, you have hobbies?
people still have fun. I don't know. No,
All the time.
as crazy as it sounds, I like going for drives. I mean, I like to listen to tunes. I never do it at home. I never listen to music at home. I just don't. I don't know why that is. Like, I come home and I put on the television. I just gotta have noise. Half the time I don't watch it.
Yeah.
But there's something about being in the car and driving and listening to music that I don't know. It's like on a different thing for me. Everybody's got their thing. But I don't know. I mean, I love to fish. I don't think I've done it in 10 years, but I got to get out and see bands more again. I kind of just put it all on hold for a while. And there's a lot of great bands out there. I got a lot of friends playing in these bands that I don't ever get out and see them much. And that's kind of a shame, but you kind of get in your little ruts once in a while, so I don't know.
So do you have a day job? Do you do
I
something
do.
other than
I do. Yeah. Next question.
okay. What do you think people would be surprised to know about you?
No, that I'm not. I'm actually much more introverted than people think I am. I've had to kind of train myself over the years to be the hardest thing you can ever do is sell yourself. And it's like I got to do this. I've got to sell myself, especially like my business is bands. Okay, how do I go out and make them, like me, so to speak? Because everybody wants to know what you do. It's like, okay, well, where have you played? Do you have any videos? Do you have this? Do you have that? Well, I have these things, but some of them are, outdated, but still me doing it. Maybe not sucking my gut in like I do now, but it was still. I mean, I still sing the same way, but I don't know. But away from that, having to be a backslapper and hey, how's it going or whatever. I mean, it's not fake. It really is me doing that, but I'd like to get away from that. And I mean, pretty much, I mean, I'm the guy that if I went in for happy hour, I'll be the guy sitting over there, at the bar, not really talking to anybody, just kind of taking it all in. Matter of fact, one of the pubs I used to go to, they used to call me Quiet Mark. They didn't believe I was a singer. And that's kind of a big high for me is people that don't know me that there's like no way. They'll say, no way you're a singer. No way. Like if I was at a work or a new job or something, and then I'd invite them to a gig, and they're like, holy crap, I didn't know you could, you're blowing my head off. You're so quiet all the time. No, I'm a loudmouth when I have to sing, so
Oh yeah.
but it's really cool to see the expression. That to me, there was like no booze or, anything that could give you that feeling. No way. No, so.
Yeah, I've got a little trouble selling myself too, like with the glitch, we had at the very beginning there. The producer says, "Tell Crown Forks about yourself." I'm like,
Oh yeah, that happens.
why does anybody want to know about me? We do the podcast for musicians, so
I,
that people get to know the musicians, not me.
I've I've done some bigger shows or shows that meant like a lot to me. Um, and bar none, every time I've done something that's really, wow, I'm really going to go out and blow them away, right off the bat, something would happen. So this doesn't surprise me. I used to think I had this little jinx thing going on because I went back to my hometown some years ago and it meant a lot to me to go back there to play for them because you grow up there. It's kind of that thing that a lot of people don't really think because you're from there that you really must be any good. I'm like, well, I'll go back. I'll show you. I can do this. Right out of the gate. This never happens. Never happens. We start the first song, and our drummer put his bass drum pedal right through his bass drum. First song. So all of a sudden, we started this song. We got through it, and we had to wait like 25 minutes. Luckily, he had another bass drum head, but he had to switch it and get it all going before we could start out again. It's like, this really meant a lot to me. I felt so bad. But, and that happens. The show I told you, Empire Arts Center, that we played in 2005, same thing. A lot of people came out. It was, my 40th birthday. Okay, may as well say it. So I had all these friends and family there sitting in this theater. You've been in the Empire Arts Center, I would imagine. Yeah, cool place, playing, got a great band lined up. Come out, first thing, the mic's dead. I'm singing, and it was a wireless mic, and it was dead.
Yeah, I like, just about every one of these podcasts, there has been one tiny little glitch in just random different stuff. That's why I do it for my phone now, because my laptop it doesn't want to it doesn't want to have a good keep its connection, and I don't know. There's always a little glitch, or say a guest doesn't show up, or and I'm supposed to sit and talk about myself for a while, or maybe I drag the show out a while with one guest instead of having two. It's, everything's a challenge.
It happens, man. One other story. I'll bring this up just because it's kind of funny to me now. But we're talking about Moondance. I played a lot of years. I was fortunate enough a couple years to be able to play on the main stage. So I played. I think it was 2006, and they had a great lineup that day. So I decide that I'm going to go out for a song. I decided I was going to be like Ronnie Van Zant that day, and I was going to be barefoot. Okay, so I was playing barefoot that day. So I go out. It's 100 freaking degrees outside, and unbeknownst to me at the time, they have the stage. It's covered, but it's got a black, that stuff that they put on like swimming pool, like the diving boards. They had this stuff on the stage, but then there's a little walkout, the little star area that you can walk out. It had a couple monitors. I had not tested this out with bare feet. I go out there, I'm singing the first song, and my feet are burning. They're on fire. I mean, my feet, you never seen a fat man move so fast in your life. I'm running and I'm singing and I'm smiling and I'm doing all this stuff. And my feet were just burning. I mean, I literally ended up with blisters on my feet. So the first lead break, I run behind the amps and I skid right down on my rear end, and we had a couple people helping us. They're shoving my shoes on. So I didn't have cool shoes because I didn't plan on wearing any. So I just had my beat up old sneakers on. So the rest of the show, I played that way. Well, I wore all black that day too, like a moron. So, I mean, I'm just sweating profusely. And this is only 2 years after Chuck Worden had died at Moondance, right after the show of heat exhaustion and had a heart attack 2 years prior. So all of a sudden I started not feeling good after the show. It was bad. And they're like, well, where can we take him? There really wasn't anywhere right then. They didn't have that backstage bar built at the time to, where we're going to take this guy for air conditioning. So the Outlaws were playing that day after we were on the main stage. And they were cool enough to let me go into their tour bus. I laid down on the floor in air conditioning. They were really cool to me about it. And while I cooled off, I just laid there, It's like, well, my first time I really get onto a tour bus and it's on my back, First one, again, I just have that thing. So I'm always prepared for it now. It's like, okay, I know the first song, something's going to happen.
And we are, just so everybody knows, we are still looking for more sponsors for the show. If you have a business or just you want to be a private supporter, that's cool too. But let's hear another word about Grand Forks Best Source. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Momma T sent you.
March on, march on, march on. Hey, march on. We got the soldier on.
So, I guess we do have some comments, but I am unable to see them because on my phone. It doesn't. Oh, there we go. You can pop. That's so cool. I didn't know that. So meatloaf sounds good. Oh my goodness. Cold Front, Mark Anthony's Storm Project. Oh, you know Paul Testa, don't you?
Yeah, I played with Paul. Yep, Uncle Paulie.
Yeah.
Sweeter man you'll never find, Sweet Paulie T.
Uh-huh. Eric Adams. Yes, he is. Yes, Eric. He is an interesting fellow, and I hope he's
Eric
got
Adams, I
stories.
saw advertised in the cities it was going to be playing with Shannon Kirkman, I believe. I wonder if that's the same dude.
Eric. Did you mean Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a singer. He's a really good
I
singer.
I was just at a place yesterday, and I didn't even know that they had music. It was called Margie's Cafe or something, and they had something. I thought it was said Eric Adams with Shannon Kirkman, and I was just wondering if it was the same guy. Just curious. Oh,
Nope, not. Hi Nancy. Thanks to all the rest of you viewers out there too. Just feeling the vibe, feeling the love. Thanks everybody. We've got I think I've got more questions for you. I hope I've got more questions.
this is new for me, but I'm digging it. It's kind of cool.
What's that?
It's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
You like this? Yeah.
Podcast.
Maybe you'll
I get to sit down. That's cool. Got a nice
Right.
comfy chair of Mike's here.
So what is your favorite? Oh, wait. And I am not the mayor of New York. She's there. What is your favorite comfort food?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I live on hot dogs pretty much.
As far as the music goes, who is your biggest supporters? Like who really like when you were feeling down about it and not really feeling it anymore? Who helped you get back up in there?
You mean people that I knew, or just I couldn't say. I have a lot of very good friends that are doing music. It's really hard to pinpoint. I just just heard from Uncle Polly. I haven't seen him for ages. It's people like that. For me, I guess the best way to answer that is like if I could go to a practice or a gig or something. Sometimes you just feel like, God, I just don't know if I want to do this anymore. And then you have a really good show or really good practice, and you're like, to me, that's kind of like the support. It's not like somebody, calling you up and saying, "Hey, dude," or kicking you in the butt or anything like that. It's just playing. I mean, music really is good medicine. It's I don't know. It's just to me, that's comfort. That's my comfort food, I guess, is just doing that, performing. Listening to tunes. How to answer that one?
So part of the reason I do this podcast is because Bobby always believed that we need to get the youth into the music and keep the music alive. What do you think is the biggest challenge of trying to get the young kids into music?
Well, it depends on what kind of music, because we can look at what they're listening to now. Like, I don't get into rap. That doesn't mean that it's not good or whatever. It's just not my preferred music because I don't look at it as music, really. But I'm old enough where I actually have grandchildren, and they're at an age like my granddaughter. I bought her a keyboard because I thought she was interested in music. I don't know if she plays or not. I hope she's listening. But I tease her like, how's Grandpa's piano player coming or whatever, and it's like, now she's like 10, 11, and now they have friends and stuff, so it's different. But how to keep them interested, is there's got to be something they have. People look up, whether it be Taylor Swift or whoever. They have to look up to somebody or be interested because they hear something that they like. That's the best answer I can give to that. I mean, it's if I had to go out and say, oh, how do I get these people interested? Like my band now, I mean, the music that I play is for people probably my age. There's always people of every age that can like music, but it's probably not what they're into. So finding what they're into and try to keep them interested in that's a challenge. Plus a lot of the schools are doing away with some of their music programs and things like that. So how do you get them interested? when there's nowhere to teach them, private lessons if they're interested. Um, Look at what was the age of Bobby when he started playing guitar? I remember him when I was in Fargo. He was like a scrawny 18, 17, 18-year-old kid when the Shuffle Cats were back there. That's how I remember Bobby. But I also remember, Johnny Lang, Shannon Kirkman, all them came out of Fargo. They were all kids to me. That's what a geezer I am. But there was more of an interest at that time, and people could look up to them because they started at such a young age. They're like, well, wow, they're 12, they're 13 doing it. I want to be like that. You just don't see a lot of that anymore. If it's out there, I don't see it. Maybe it is in corners that I don't know where it's at, but I just don't see it.
What was your when you started?
Say again, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
How old were you when you got interested in music?
I did my very first gig at the Grafton roller skating rink in Grafton. I was 1 week shy of being 16. That's the first quote unquote professional gig I ever did because we got paid. But they kind of set us up in the corner of the roller rink, and people are in roller skates and they're going around and around. We only knew 10 songs, and we had one of those custom tuck and roll PAs, the ones that are metal flake, We had those with a power head. I sang through a little realistic microphone that just had the cord was all one part, it was like, singing through a sock. And we only knew 10 songs. We had to play the same 10 songs. I think it was four sets that we had to do. And it was like, we played 10 songs, took a break, played 10 songs, took a break, kind of thing. But I still remember the first song I ever sang on stage was Cocaine by Eric Clapton. Not a lot of words to it, but I just froze up. Just, oh my God, I'm actually playing in front of people. And I was embarrassed. I kind of cut off the stage right away. And then, so the guitar player sang, and he came up to me and he said, just a second, folks, He came up to me and he said, well, you have to decide, do you want to be a singer or do you not want to be a singer? It's up to you. In that moment, I could have walked away from it and never done anything. I think of that sometimes, but I actually went up there and I was pretty nervous, sang almost like the Jim Morrison thing. I sang kind of with my back to the audience and stuff. And, by the second, third set, I was jumping around, and, just hardly any voice at the end of the night, just nothing, but I don't know. It's funny to look back on. You're just a dumb kid, but
Did you ever take voice lessons or anything like that? Or
I did for a while in Grand Forks when I was about, I want to say about 19 or so. My friend talked me into it because some of my first bands, we were doing stuff that really wasn't suited to me. And I didn't know really any better, so to speak, because, this is in the later 80s where Guns N' Roses and, Tesla and some of the bands that we were going to do, I just really couldn't sing that stuff very well. It's just not what I do very well. And of course, I thought that I was terrible because I couldn't do that. I couldn't sing like those people. So, you kind of get down on yourself. So it was a suggestion that I take some lessons. So there was an elderly lady in Grand Forks years ago that gave piano and voice lessons. So I went, and I thought, there's no way this lady's going to teach me anything. When you're young, you know everything. That. But she was sharp. She actually taught me how to sing into a microphone. You don't just do it a certain way. How to project and all these little things are like second nature now. She taught me how to do a lot of things like that and to just use your voice. You don't have to sound like if you're doing a Nazareth song like Love Hurts, you don't have to, just blow the wad and try to sound, like he does. You just sing the song. And it stuck with me. I mean, you can try to do that, but if it's not your thing, man, just sing like you do.
What do you think your favorite gig was?
Boy, I've done a lot of gigs. There's those few that stand out. If you ever get to like open for another, a national act or something. I mean, I got in during Flood Rock, '97 when all the floods were there. The Shuffle Cats opened for Foghat, and it was the original lineup. Lonesome Dave and Rod Price were still alive, and you know, um, Tony Stevens was a bass player, and Roger Earls, the only one left, now the drummer. But it was those four people. It was the original Foghat that we got to open for. And they were very nice to us. That was really cool. And it was kind of our town. We just put our CD out, so we were getting some of the cool gigs at that time. The radio station put some of these together, so they put us with Foghat. That was cool, but I think for me, it was opening for the Doobie Brothers at the West Fargo Fairgrounds and there was just tons of people. I don't know how many, but there was a few thousand people out there. That was also in '97, got to do that. And we got to hang out with them backstage. And before they went on, they kicked most of us out, but the drummer at the time said, "Oh, he's with me, man." So I got to hang out back there, and I was sitting behind the drum stool, looking towards the backstage, and they had a semi trailer there, and I got to see, Tom Johnson and Pat Simmons. I can't remember the bass player's name. I'm sorry. But the three of them were in the back of that semi, and they were warming up their voices with "Jesus Is Just All Right." And I'm the only one sitting there watching them. It's like these three are like playing for me, and of course they were oblivious to me even sitting there, but they're doing, "Oh, Jesus Is Just All Right with Me." Like, wow, this is cool, because they opened with that song. So that was pretty freaking cool. It was really cool. Of course, I didn't realize none of them didn't drink anymore. Of course, back then we were just slinging them, So we were backstage, and they got all this free food and stuff. And we got, as the opening band, we got to be in on that too. So we're like slagging down all the beer, and they're just kind of looking. I was like, "Who are these guys?" So yeah, that was an awful lot of fun. There's a lot of gigs. I can go on and on. I had a lot of really cool moon dance gigs. Uncle Polly, who chimed in, he played on. I don't remember what year he was. He was on the main stage with me. He played Hammond. We had another guy playing the piano stuff. But yeah, everybody, you try to get the biggest band you can together when you do something like that, And nobody says no. They never do.
That Polly is a great keyboard. I mean, I haven't seen him in person, but like when they played at the Empire with Bob, I can't remember. He'll probably comment. Can't remember what year it was or who they opened for, but Bobby's got the DVD of them playing at the Empire, and it zooms in on him, and he is just going to town. Like, wow, like he can play that thing like Bobby could shred a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good musician too.
Yeah.
Can you tell me again where people can find your music and
Yes, the entire first CD that I was talking about, we didn't have the physical CDs. I'm getting some more printed up, but you can go to ReverbNation.com. Mark Anthony's Shuffle Cats.
Oh, like that?
Yep, just like that. He popped it up there. That's
Wow.
awesome. But
This
yeah, go in there. There's I think there's 15 songs, but the all 10 of the first, they're not in the same order, but all 10 of the first ones, anything pretty much that has harmonica on it is the first CD, because that's John Hoover was in the band at that time, the Honey Boy. And I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about John. I haven't seen him for so long. He went deaf. He doesn't play anymore, but he's still in Fargo. I don't see him anymore, but Sweet guy. Yeah, but anyway, those 10 songs are on there, and then we have a couple songs that are on the Rubber Monkey CD that are posted on there as well. And I do have a new CD recorded that is not out there yet. We've played some of the songs live before in the past, but I don't remember. I think a couple of them might be on there as well.
So let's see. Which of these on the Rubber Monkey is? Which ones did you write?
The first four, I don't know the order of what they say on there, but the first four songs I know were songs that I had written. Some were actually recorded prior, and then the actual Rubber Monkeys band recorded a couple of those songs all together. There were some that I'd written, like "Shut Your Big Mouth" was one that I'd done, and we brought in the Power of 10 horns. They played on that song with us, so it's cool. I wasn't sure if horns would work. It was actually our bass player Tom's idea. He knew one of the guys. And I'm like, geez, I don't know. I've never worked a lot with horns, some saxophone, but to have a whole horn section of four guys, trombone and sax, but they did a killer job. It was a lot of fun. It's like, wow, I go back and listen to that, and I was like, man, that turned out really cool. So,
Vegas Wedding, Cry
Yeah.
Baby, Shut Your Mouth, and Super Glide.
Yep, those four were written. I wrote Superglide when I was about 19 or 20 years old with Frank Taylor. We wrote that together. He came up. I did not know how naive I was. I did not know a Superglide was a Harley Davidson motorcycle. I go, what the hell is a Superglide? Because he came up with the title. Everything else lyrically I wrote for the song. But he came up with Superglide, and then we put it together. I've since kind of reworked it my own way and re-recorded it, and it is re-recorded with the guys from the Rubber Monkeys the way that we played it. But I had no idea what Superglide was. So that song goes way back. I think I recorded that song probably 4 or 5 different times over the years. So, but that's the latest one, and there's a couple more on there. One of my personal favorites is a song called "Get a Grip." I just really enjoy that. It's about addiction. It's about any kind of addiction. I don't specify what it is, but that's what that one's about.
Well, it has been such a pleasure and privilege.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah,
That was
awesome. Thank you so much for and
when I was a kid, I used to pretend I was on the Carson show, on Johnny Carson. People probably don't even remember who that is.
I do. I used to watch Johnny Carson with my grandma. But anyway, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it. We'll probably have you back on here at some point. I am also on another podcast tomorrow night, every Monday. I'm on Renegade Radio. Tomorrow we will be interviewing Lindsay Gregory and Howard Brockhouse. So you better tune into that tomorrow too. You can find that either at the Renegade Radio, or it'll also be cross-posted onto the Little Bobby Buzz Facebook page. And I just wanted to let you guys know, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All your support is appreciated. And like I said earlier, if you want, if you're a business out there or know a business that would like to have a plug on the show, have them get a hold of my producer, Jeremy. You do such an awesome job. Shout out for Jeremy. Thank you so much. But I'm going to let everybody go. We've got a couple more seconds. Watch till the end.